Thank you for watching our story. If you enjoyed it, be sure to explore more magical tales on our channel. From brave princes and kind hearted princesses to clever fairies and thrilling detective adventures, every story is filled with heartwarming lessons about friendship, family, and strong values. Now, let's jump into today's delightful tale. The Fault is Ours. Written by Mukhtar Ahmad, this story is a treasure chest of timeless wisdom and kindness. All rights reserved. The Fault is Ours. By Mukhtar Ahmad. When Mr. Saqib came home from the office, he immediately sensed that his wife was in a bad mood. She didn't smile at him, nor did she show the usual joy she felt when he returned from work. After changing his clothes, he came back to the living room. His wife silently placed a cup of tea before him, then sat on the sofa and began wiping sweat from her face with her scarf. My dear, you seem upset today. Is it because I came home a bit early? Mr. Saqib asked jokingly, taking a sip of tea. Hearing this, his wife replied, You're always joking around. But you've left three troublemakers in my care. Not one of them listens to me. I keep telling them to do this or that, but it's like talking to a wall. They're always hiding in corners with their mobile phones. I've told Adnan several times to go to the market, but each time he just says, I'll go in a minute, and then keeps playing games on his phone. Thank goodness you're upset because of the kids. I thought you were angry with me, Mr. Sakit said with a cheerful smile. His wife smiled slightly too and added in a complaining tone, Why don't you talk to them? Too much of anything is bad. Mr. Saqib suddenly became serious and sipped his tea. Silently. After a moment, he said, You're right. This really is a serious matter. We need to find a solution. Just then, their three children, Adnan, Kamran, and Gudia, heard their father's voice and came to greet him. After saying salam, they sat beside him. Mr. Saqib turned to Adnan and said, Son, I'm very disappointed that you didn't listen to your mother. She asked you to bring some groceries, and you still haven't gone. Adnan looked at his mother with guilty eyes and said, Sorry, Mom. Please tell me now what you need. Not wanting to stretch the matter further, she handed him a small slip of paper. Get these items and come back quickly. I'm already late starting dinner. After Adnan left, Kamran and Gudia sat for a while longer with their father. Mr. Saqib asked them about their school day. After a short conversation, the two children returned to their room. Their mother watched them go, knowing they were likely returning to their mobile phones. But she said nothing. The three children, Adnan, 12, Kamran, 10, and Gudia, 8, were well-mannered, good in studies, and polite. But they had developed one bad habit. After finishing schoolwork, they would sit glued to their mobile phones. This habit had distanced them from activities that boosted physical and mental development. Adnan and Kamran no longer went outside to play cricket, badminton, or football. Nor did they play board games like Ludo or Carom with Gudia at home. Worst of all, they had stopped reading storybooks. The root of these problems was their excessive screen time. A few days passed since their mother had first complained about this to Mr. Saqib. Then, one evening at dinner, he said, Sunday is 3 days away. We'll go for a picnic to the forest in Shadab Nagar. It's a beautiful place near the mountains, about 10 or 12 kilometers from here. A cold river flows through it. We'll also play a very exciting game there. What kind of game, Papa? Gudia asked eagerly. I'll hide a big bag somewhere in the forest. It'll be filled with good things. You'll all have to find it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. The children's eyes sparkled with excitement. Gudiya asked, but the forest is so big. Will we have to search the whole thing? Smiling, Mr. Saqib said, good question. No, it'll be hidden near the spot where we'll sit. Their mother smiled too. I'm tired of being cooped up in the house all the time. This trip will be a lovely change for me too. Adnan asked, will mom also take part in the game? Oh no, she laughed. What if your papa hides the bag in a bird's nest? Can you imagine me climbing trees to look in nests? The kids burst out laughing. Kamran said, Papa, are you really going to hide the bag in a nest? Gudiya can't even climb trees. I can't say, Mr. Saqib said teasingly. Maybe I won't hide it in a nest. The kids spent the rest of the evening imagining possible hiding spots. They were so absorbed in their guesses that they forgot about their phones entirely. When their mother came to check on them at bedtime, she was surprised to find them still chatting about the game and not a single mobile phone in sight. She smiled and said good night, then went to Mr. Saqib and happily told him, for the first time ever, I didn't have to ask the kids to put away their phones and sleep. Mr. Saqib smiled too. On Sunday, to everyone's surprise, the children woke up early, something unheard of on a holiday. They bathed, got dressed, ate quickly, and eagerly waited for the signal to get in the car. Mr. Saqib and his wife were packing the picnic. Food, biryani, kebabs, fruit custard, fresh fruits, and cans of soft drinks. Once everything was packed, they locked the house and left. Excitement was written all over the children's faces. Mr. Saqib smiled to himself as he watched them. Though it was summer, the forest area was cool and calm. They stopped the car near a clear open spot, close to the sparkling river. The children spread out a mat while their parents began unpacking. Mr. Saqib tied long strings to the fruit and drink bags and placed them in the river to stay cool. The river water will keep everything chilled, he explained. The kids were amazed. Gudiya looked at her brothers proudly, as if to say, see how clever my papa is. Adnan jumped up. I'm going to find that bag now. And if I find it, I'll share what's inside with both of you. He began searching near the river, thinking maybe the bag was hidden like the drinks. Kamran explored the trees, looking for a bag hanging from a branch. Their parents watched with amusement. You think they'll find it? Mr. Saqib's wife asked. I doubt it, laughed Mr. Saqib. I hid it myself. It's not going to be easy. Gudiya sat nearby, watching her brothers. Why aren't you searching? Her mother asked. I will. I'm just thinking first, Gudiya replied, as narrowed in concentration. Turning back to her husband, she said, you picked a wonderful spot. It's so peaceful and refreshing. Some friends told me about this place. It's my first time here too, he said. Then, pointing to the children, he added, look how involved they are. And to think, you used to complain about them. They haven't touched their phones since last night, they didn't even bring them. That's true, his wife said, astonished. I hadn't even noticed. That's why I came up with this plan, Mr. Saqib said. Our kids, and all kids, are good. We parents are the ones who make mistakes. We hand them phones or turn on cartoons just to keep them quiet. His wife nodded, guilt creeping into her face. You're right. When each of them was about a year old, they gave me such a hard time when you weren't home. So, I started putting cartoons on the little TV and sitting them in high chairs with their bottles. They'd sit there for hours and not bother me. Life became easier. And as they grew older, we gave them expensive phones for birthdays and after exams. I'm just as guilty. After work, when they wanted to play or talk, I wanted to relax. So I encouraged them to use their phones. And when they got hooked, I was relieved they didn't disturb me. We distanced them from outdoor play, parks, and books. But just look at them now, so happy and engaged without screens. His wife sighed deeply. I pushed my kids away for my own comfort. But I've made up my mind, I'm going to change. I'll spend time with them, play games, read books, talk to them. Whether housework gets done or not, it doesn't matter. And I'll ask Adnan and Kamran to go out every evening. At night, I'll play games with all three of them, said Mr. Saqib. By now, Adnan and Kamran had gone quite far. Gudiya was picking berries and placing them in a small velvet pouch. Mr. Saqib called the kids for lunch. They came back, looking disappointed. Kamran said, Papa, we searched everywhere. Trees, bushes, the riverbank, we couldn't find the bag. It's here somewhere, Mr. Saqib smiled. Try again after lunch. And you, Gudiya, you're not even trying. Patting her gently, he added, Don't you want to find the bag? Papa, I'm not looking for the bag because I already know where it is, she replied playfully. Everyone stared at her in surprise. Well then, where is it? Her father asked. It's in the car trunk. Gudiya grinned. You said the bag is in the forest, and the car is in the forest too. Everyone was stunned. Her brothers ran to the car and opened the trunk, and sure enough, there was the bag. Inside were a cricket bat, wickets, rubber balls, badminton rackets, shuttlecocks, a Ludo game, Urdu and English flashcards, and a big bundle of storybooks. Gudiya, how did you figure it out? Her father asked. I read detective stories sometimes, she laughed. When you told Mama this was your first time here, I knew you couldn't have hidden the bag in the forest before today. So it had to be in the car. Everyone praised her brilliant deduction. Papa, thank you for bringing us all these amazing things, Kamran said. Now we'll play every day, and I've realized that too much mobile time is harmful. We'll still use phones, but in moderation. That's a great decision, said their mother. Then she turned to Gudiya and added proudly, My daughter is indeed very smart. Gudiya beamed and hugged her mother tightly.